They're really nice. I think I want an Audi. I think I'm an Audi girl. Because they're awesome. And I like the way they sound. So I'm going to probably do that. I have to go to the Audi dealership and test drive a couple of them. Can't have an R8. I have two little kiddos. Not going to happen. If you guys are watching this on the replay, definitely type replay. What car do you want? If you were to have, $1,600 a month handed to you and said, hey, go buy whatever you want, what would it be?
Phil interview that he gave where he was smiling, but Burke is definitely somewhere on a spectrum. I can't diagnose him, but he's somewhere on a spectrum. And when people smile, when they're uncomfortable, that's a thing too. That's a psychological thing. So people were quick to, when he did the Dr. Phil, to be like, oh, he's smiling the whole time. Why is he smiling?
Yeah, I mean, I know. I actually do have a degree in physiology and psychology, and I don't want to try to diagnose anybody, but I can say all individuals have a very unique to them way of responding to things. Some when they're uncomfortable, some may cry when they're uncomfortable, some may kind of just ball up and not say anything when they're uncomfortable.
I can think of, if this wasn't showing as much, she does have that kind of skin tone that when there's any kind of like disruption on the skin, it gets really red, bright red at first, and then it dies down. But this over here, this looks like it's blood or something, unless maybe this is just blood and then she got it cleaned up. That could be too. But I mean, she's still got these, all this.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Parawoman Radio. I'm Amy. Today, I thought we would cover a little bit on the Gabby Petito case. I know I've been doing the Alex Murdaugh trial, but yesterday I had 2 appointments and I came home and I was completely wiped out. Like, I was just so tired emotionally and physically because I had done PT and then I had done, I spoke to my therapist. So I did physical and mental health yesterday and I was tired. Drinking coffee. Going to talk about the Gabby Petito case. I hope everyone's having a great morning or afternoon or evening, whenever you're watching this or listening. I hope that you're doing well. It's Thursday, one day before Friday. So let's go ahead and watch the Nancy Grace on the, hold on, let me share the screen and then I'll say what we're going to do. I still have a hard time doing this 2 things at once.
Burn after reading?
Okay, so we're going to watch the Nancy Grace. Did mom offer to help Brian Laundrie bury Gabby Petito and burn after reading letter? So we're going to jump into the Gabby Petito case. How are you guys feeling about the Gabby Petito case these days? I'm bummed that Brian's not around to face the music that he created, but now his parents are. So let's watch this and see what's up. If you could give this live a like, a thumbs up, a heart, a smile, anything to help me dance out into the algorithm and kind of party out there and bring more people back to us. So I would appreciate it. It's just a free way to help my channel out. Thanks.
Burn after reading? Are you serious? Burn after reading? Gabby Petito, God rest her soul in heaven, Gabby Petito's parents insist a letter from Brian Laundrie's mother offered to help bury a body. Did you ever see the series Burn Notice? Did anybody in here ever see that? Okay.
I have heard of it, but I have not watched it. Has anyone heard or seen it?
Okay. Loved it. Where is that guy now? I love that guy.
Got a new show.
Got a new show. Burn Notice. That's what I thought of when I read the headline. Burn after reading. Anything but that. Brian Laundrie's mother allegedly wrote a letter that said she would, quote, bring a shovel to help bury a body.
I would love to see this letter. I've been hearing a lot about it, but I would really, truly love to see it.
I guess she's talking about beautiful young Gabby Petito. Now, this is according to a request filed by the lawyers for Gabby Petito's family. The letter's envelope actually said, burn after reading. Now, I'm curious.
It's always a shame when people don't listen to what the envelope tells you to do.
Know that. Joining me, high-profile lawyer out of the Jacksonville, Florida jurisdiction. And I love to talk to Dale Carson, not because he's a high-profile defense attorney. I hate that part. But I love that he is a former FBI agent and former cop out of Miami.
I love the banter that in the back and forth that Nancy and this guy has. It's fun to watch.
Never lack of business there. He's the author of Arrest Proof Yourself, and you can find him at dalecarsonlaw.com. But I do want to hear your legal expertise as well. This is his jurisdiction. And there are subtle distinctions in state law across our country. Every state law has a little something different. Like you'll notice in some jurisdictions, they don't call it murder one. Some jurisdictions, capital murder doesn't mean you're going to get the death penalty. There's all sorts of nuances, and Florida law is no exception. But can we just talk about these facts for a minute, Dale Carson? Now, this is being alleged.
Would anyone be interested in me going to this court case and covering it live from the court case? Just wondering, because I'm in Florida, very close. I am considering going to the Aiden Fucci hearing.
By Gabby Petito's family. Okay? So you've got to consider the source. They are heartbroken. They're devastated. They're never going to get their daughter back. And they are infuriated, Dale Carson, infuriated because they believe that Brian Laundrie, Gabby Petito's fiance, that his parents knew for days and days and days that Gabby was dead. And
what do you guys think? Do you think that the family knew that Gabby was dead for days and days and days? Do you think when Brian rolled up into the house, they didn't say, "Where's Gabby"? I believe they knew for days and days and days and days. I don't know about the sister, although it's so suspect that they all went to that campground. And I can't see how they all went. Well, there are photos of just Brian hiking with the parents. So maybe they went on a hike to talk about it, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think the sister knew? Put down in the comments if you think the sister knew.
Kind of stringing them along when they were writing and texting and trying to call Laundrie's parents going, have you heard from Gabby? What's happening? And according to the Petito family.
Oh my goodness. Hold on one second.
Wouldn't respond.
Look who's here. Miss GMD. Hi, babe. How are you? I hope you're doing well and having a very happy morning.
But outright obstructed them finding out the truth. Now, that said, considering the source, it doesn't matter the source if this letter really exists. Repeat, On the outside of the envelope, according to the Petitos, it says burn after reading. Somebody's been watching way too much Cloak and Dagger spy tape.
But somebody doesn't follow directions because somebody didn't burn after reading, right? Bet you that person wishes they had burned after reading.
Sneak on TV. And inside, according to them, and I'm reading plaintiff's second request for production to defendant Christopher Laundrie, that's Brian Laundrie's family. They're asking about this letter. Okay, Dale Carson, hit it.
All right, so what happened
hit.
here is this is part of the notebook and personal possessions that were found on him when he died or killed himself. And the FBI, as we know, took custody of that information.
Boy, that's low. I think I've got my volume.
All
No.
that data. So clearly, he didn't follow his mother's advice to burn the document because it was recovered.
Exactly what I keep saying.
Dale, let me
Someone did not follow advice.
refresh your recollection, as we say in court. Yeah, he was too busy to burn the documents because he was way too overloaded multitasking, trying to drive Gabby Petito's van, not his, her van, without her, using her credit card to buy munchies along the way, driving back home.
Well, a fella's gotta eat.
He was too busy to burn that document. Go ahead.
So that's why we have the entire document and what the family is trying to do.
You guys, have we seen this document? Because I have not seen it. I've heard about it. Oh, Lordy, I've got heartburn today. This coffee's making it. I've got heartburn. Hold on a second. I'm going to play this and get a heartburn pill.
Actually, the Petito family and Schmidt are trying to get that document to see whether or not it was written prior to the death or following the death. And it's rather evident to me that it was written before the death. Otherwise, he wouldn't have put it in his portfolio. So the difficulty here.
I don't agree with you. Why would she be talking about, I'll bring a shovel? Who says that?
Well, who puts burn this after reading on it?
Why would she even discuss that if Gabby was still alive? There's no need to, quote, bring a shovel. Hey, have you looked at the notebook? Because there are photos of the notebook. You can see it's a little waterlogged, but you can read it very well. Everything that he wrote.
Certainly. Yep, it's true. And I mean, we now know that there's a confession. I mean, he clearly is the individual who did this. And the difficulty arises for the Laundrie family because the attorney representing them made a statement on the news.
Isn't the attorney for the they're probably just about to say this, but isn't the attorney for the Laundries being sued too? I think he was added. I'm behind on this case, you guys.
He believed she was still alive. He intimated that. And that's the basis, really, for the civil suit, which alleges that they suffered great emotional, grievous harm from the publication of that information when they knew that Gabby Petito was, in fact, no longer among the living.
This is actually set to go to trial in August of 2023.
Oh, snap. I'm going, you guys. I'm going. I need to write that down, though. Okay.
That's not that far away.
No.
So let me understand the nuances of Florida law.
Gabby.
Do you believe that's a real trial date? Because from what I've seen of, well, I'm on the criminal side, but by the time I called for a jury panel, 60, 80 jurors, when the defendant would see those jurors starting to file in, take a long, hard look at him, suddenly they'd want a plea, a guilty plea. Now,
well, that's right.
I'm wondering
after the jury went.
I think that's exactly why Chris Watts pleaded guilty, is he couldn't handle having his life discussed in an open court. I don't know if I could handle my life discussed in an open court, but I certainly wouldn't be doing all the stuff that these people are doing.
Those behind closed doors, oftentimes defendants will plead guilty when they look at the faces of the jurors.
So do you believe that's a real trial date? Is that really going to happen? Or
Well,
is
there's
the
going to be a
laundry
fight
attorney
over
going to say, oh, we need a further notice. We need
I'm
a
going, you
continuance. We're not
guys. I
ready.
got it written
Well,
down.
you know they are. Why am I even asking that?
Well,
Of course they're going to ask for a delay.
That's the effort, is to delay when you're on the defense side. But what they want to see is that letter. And if the court agrees.
Listen, I want to see that that letter. I want to see that letter. I hope to God we see this letter.
They should see that letter, because remember, it was turned back over to the Laundrie family after the Bureau recovered it and dried it out. So certainly when we see that letter, we're going to have a better understanding of how deeply the Laundrie family was when they talked to their son when he was transiting back from out west.
You know, when he got back,
I guess
Del
that's
Carson, you
true.
and I
They
talked about
probably
this
knew
a lot at the time.
They probably even knew as he was, going cross country that Gabby wasn't with him. So when he pulled up, they probably were not surprised that Gabby wasn't there because they knew.
Remember when he got back from his trip with Gabby, leaving her body out in dispersed camping to rot? He got all the way home, and didn't the family go camping? Didn't they go? Do you remember that, Jackie? They went to some.
They did. No,
Yeah.
they did.
And
unusually so.
the sister was there, and you want to tell me, after saying, burn after reading, call on me, I will show up with a shovel to get rid of the body, that they didn't mention a thing about it around the old campfire?
Well, they had to talk about something.
Yes.
And certainly that was going to be a subject of the conversation. I mean, you've got to know that his behavior was fundamentally different than when he left. Now he's going to be, he is a murderer.
Well, the
And
thing
so the
is,
result
I
is-
always thought, Del Carson, that they went, wasn't it something like DeSoto Park? Jack Wilson?
I sort of starting to get Brian Laundrie and Brian Koberger. Like when I'm thinking of the case, I'm like the cases are kind of floating together and mingling because they're both Brian. They both traveled cross country. They both killed women. So their parents are also somewhat involved. So I don't know. These cases are kind of mingling and dancing together in my mind. So if I slip and get these cases mixed up, please know that's what's happening.
It's like a state facility, campgrounds, picnic grounds near the water. I always believed that they went camping because they wanted to get away from their home, which they probably believed was bugged. That's what I always thought.
And they probably took their cell phones with them.
Yeah. And why? Your son comes home from...
How would they... Oh, so the people sitting out in the vans are listening to what they're talking about? That kind of bugged? Or literally bugged in your house? Because can they sit outside your house and listen to you? I think they can.
A camping trip. Do you, as a family, suddenly go to a campsite?
I hate that. I am such a person that is so protective of my privacy that what I want to give out, I want to give out. But I know in this day and age, anybody can find out anything about anybody. But literally you can sit out front now in somebody's house and listen. Is that what they're saying?
And sit around the campfire and talk. What?
Well, particularly when the woman that he was so much in love with and stayed with the family for a protracted period of time.
I hope they talk about the sister because I really want to know what they think about the sister, because the sister went camping too, but then the sister stood outside and said she didn't know anything about it, but maybe they didn't. I don't think they camped with them. I think they only came up and visited, so they probably just stopped talking about it when they were around.
Didn't come back with him. I mean, that's just phenomenal to me that you would go camping and not in order to get away from prying eyes or neighbors, because
I love camping.
For the Bureau, neighbors were very important. You watch what families do to the neighbors. So they weren't there to have anything overheard.
I love camping so much. I spent 2 summers in tents being a Girl Scout leader and or lifeguard. So I love camping. I could live outside.
and they could do as they please. And this may be
Sleeping
where they
underneath the
formulated
stars.
the alleged plan for him to
Smell a
leave the country.
campfire.
Yeah, I remember your theory, and it was a pretty good theory too. Could there be any criminal liability?
Sorry, guys. I need to refocus. I just went on a tangent. I'm sorry.
Stating, burn after reading, tell me when to show up. I will be there with a shovel to get rid of the body.
Well,
Doesn't that sound like a cartoon? Because like you see those memes where, you talk about your friends and you'll be like, I'm the type of friend that somebody's having a problem. I say, I'll be there at midnight with soap in my sock and we ride at midnight, something like that. I say that sometimes to friends just as a joke, but holy smokes.
to the question.
I guess maybe I need to stop saying those type of things.
In 1984, they repealed the misprision of felony in the federal system, which was followed by the states doing the same thing. Misprision of felony is if you know somebody committed a crime and you don't tell law enforcement, you're guilty of a felony as well. And that's gone in our jurisprudence now. So if you see some horrible thing, you're no longer criminally obligated to tell police about it. You can keep your mouth shut. Now, morally, you and I know that's improper. But today, in the law, they have made it so that you don't have to discuss anything at all. So mom doesn't have to say anything about the situation. And what got this case rolling on was the fact that the attorney for the Laundries actually made a statement suggesting that the victim in this case was still alive. Had they not said anything at all to the press, this would not have gone forward. So clearly the Laundries have a leg to stand on in connection with this matter, but it's still a question, it's civil. It is not criminal.
What do you guys think? Do you think any money's going to come out of this? Do you think they're going to get anything? Do you think they'll settle? Do you think the Laundries will settle at the last minute just so this letter won't come out? I think it's likely.
Well, don't you believe?
Although the Laundries seem to be like just cut from a different cloth, so they might like be the type to take it to the end. I don't know.
There is some avenue of aiding and abetting in a criminal matter. I mean, burying a dead body is abuse of a corpse. It's tampering with evidence.
Now, well, but you have to take an actual act.
Yeah, because I don't think Gabby was actually buried. Wasn't she just left there to expose to the elements?
Are not sufficient.
Okay, what about conspiracy?
Well, let me say this, though. Today, the fact that you can threaten somebody over the internet without the apparent ability to do it is still a crime.
Well, it's because you have not only schemed it, you've taken an overt act, which is required in the law of conspiracy. You can't just say, hey, Jackie, let's rob a bank. I have to actually go get my sawed off and get her in the car and start heading that way. That is an overt act. It doesn't take much to qualify as an overt act. But in this case, writing the letter, in my mind, is an overt act in furtherance of a conspiracy to tamper with a body.
Well, whether the state attorney...
I don't know about that, but she would know more than I would. But.
Moms have a unique position with their children. And it was certainly true. Well, certainly true. It was true in the law that we got from England. And that...
We call that the common law.
That's right. And the common law is something that allowed moms to help fugitive sons without worrying about it.
That's over.
Really? I've never heard of such a thing. Have you? So there's a common law, but Nancy's saying it's over, that mothers can help fugitives without getting in trouble. I don't think that could be true because the Aiden Fucci mother got in trouble for washing his jeans, which, I mean, they had surveillance in their own house. Do you have cameras up all around your house, like inside? Does anyone out there do that? And if you do, I'm just curious why. I guess I could get why to do it if you had young children in your home?
Certainly.
And you're a YouTuber?
But if you're given immunity, right? If you're given
Yeah.
immunity in a grand jury and you don't tell the truth, there's a problem.
Oh, okay. There it
Well,
is.
I mean, you go in front of a grand
So
jury.
they get immunity if they sit and tell the truth, but I don't know.
Sworn testimony you give, it turns out to be not true. There's a criminal charge.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, when you are called to testify, you can take the Fifth. The Fifth Amendment says
Oh, yeah, that's
you
true.
do not have a right, you cannot be forced to testify, or
Yeah,
a lot
yesterday
of things would.
a subscriber from the UK asked me if you have to show up in court and I said you do if you're subpoena, but I forgot to say that you could take the Fifth on the stand, but you have to show up to say I'm pleading the Fifth
Equate
in
to
the United
testifying.
States.
But
Well,
the
you've
law
done
cannot
this before, certainly with grand
force you
juries,
to
right?
testify against your own interest. But what Dale Carson just said is true. So the state goes, okay, you've got immunity.
Well,
You
I know
haven't
there's
been working
immunity
with
for the wives, right? There's immunity. The wives can't testify, and the husbands can't testify against each other, husband and wife.
Amendment right to remain
That's why I
silent,
never want to
because
get
we
married again.
promise we will not prosecute you. That means the target, i.e., the mother of the defendant, no longer has a leg to stand on because she's not going to be prosecuted. Therefore, she can be forced to testify. Now, as a lawyer, I'm fine with that. As a mom, I don't like it at all. And, you know, we
I know
saw
that's right.
in Top Mom Casey Anthony's case, and I happen to like the Anthony family, Cindy and George Anthony. They've been through hell.
She didn't like him at first. She said that they have kind of made up, and now she likes them. But she tore him apart during the trial.
H-E-double-L with that daughter of theirs, Top Mom, Casey Anthony, and they're still living without Kelly, the apple of their eye, who was murdered by Top Mom Casey Anthony. Remember?
The Casey Anthony trial makes me so frustrated. I can barely talk about it. We did a skincare and suspects about it, and I cried because it makes me so angry that she got away with it, that in court she got away with it. It just makes me feel hopeless, and when stuff like that happens.
Anthony got up on the stand and claimed that those, you know, bombshell computer searches for homemade chloroform, she got up there and took the fall for that. And we all knew she was lying.
Yeah.
To save her daughter. She did that. So I imagine a lot of moms would lie on the stand.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say one way or the other because I don't want it to be used against me.
I can imagine that as well. Actually, you know what? I get so hard and tough, and then when my psychology mind takes over, then I know. Then I know that people do it for many reasons, and mothers do it out of love. Some. My mother is not one of those loving, caring mothers. So, but I know there's mothers like that out there.
Cross-examination one day. That said, Lewinsky's mother did appear before a grand jury and testified under oath. That was the first time it really hit the national headlines that mothers could be forced to testify against their child. So, what do you think about this? Let's just...
I don't feel good about mothers being forced to testify against their child. I don't feel good about that.
What about
either in fathers too? I don't feel good about that.
Conspiracy to tamper with a corpse, and writing the letter would be the overt act.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see it if there was pressure on the state attorney to bring the case, and that would come from the public outcry that they were allowed to know. And here's the other thing that I don't understand. There's no litigation of this effort that was caused for the searches by all these government agencies and volunteers to cover their costs. I mean, there's a significant cost if they knew where the decedent was, if they knew where Gabby was, and they didn't say, and we spend all these hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to locate a body that they knew where it was, then, I'm in favor of them having to pay that back.
Guys, in the last hours, Gabby Petito's parents' lawyer renews the request for Brian Laundrie's mother, Roberta Laundrie's burn after reading letter to her son, allegedly containing an offer from Brian Laundrie's mother to help him bury a body, that she will, quote, lend her son a shovel. So, after all the Petitos have been through, now we hear this. Also, there's a claim, quote, I will get you out of prison. The letter, as Dale stated, was from a backpack found with Laundrie's body, and Laundrie's defense attorney claims it predates the road trip. We'll see. Hey, I'm hearing in my ear we're going into the Murdaugh courtroom. Bye, Dale Carson. Thanks.
Oh, okay. She's covering the Murdaugh case. I was covering it. Do you guys want me to cover the Murdaugh case today? Or I had to do all my appointments yesterday, and it was really good yesterday. I did it the day that all the DNA, I've been doing it with the DNA and all that stuff, and I found it kind of boring. But I know that court is is it 9:20 or 10:20? I think it's 9:20, but I don't know. I think I saw something just before I came on about the Watts case. I was going to do something about that, but I can't. I do want to show you this. I want to show you this. Do you want me to stick to the Gabby Petito? We could do some searches to see what's new besides that. Or do you want me to shift gears to the Watts, or just go away? Because of all the true crime that I've been doing, I have created Feel Good University, Earn Your BA and Happy. I've been putting some of my more happy videos over there. I've got some of the Happy Watts videos, Jeananne having fun with her friend, Nicole after her cancer, just Jeananne talking about what friendship means to her. I've got that. I'm just going to put the stuff that's happy over there. It's not all true crime. I've done a Soul Train, a series of Soul Train old dancer videos for Black History Month. I'm going to do a few more Black History Month videos. And just kind of happy stuff. And if you have anything you want me to post over there, I can do that. I just want things to be lighter over there and just display the good. And so let's do a search and see if there's anything else on the Gabby Petito case. That's 7 months ago. Let's put a filter in. Let's do this week. Oh yeah, I showed this picture of Gabby Petito the other day. If anyone missed it, we'll watch this. This is 6 minutes, and then I might go into the Murdaugh case. I don't know.
So, what happened here and here?
I'm not sure.
So there's a video or a photo that's been put out in the case in this recent lawsuit. The parents showed a photo, Amy, a photo. It's a photo of Gabby Petito with blood all over her face just before the police officer stopped the van. So let's watch it.
Yes, I was just trying to get in the back of the car and
So the backpack got you? So there's two people that came
I
out.
found this the body cam of the stop. I find it very hard to watch. Does anyone else? This is like so hard to watch.
Told us that they saw him hit you. There's two people saying that they saw him punch you. We're just independent witnesses by Moonflower.
I think the police officers failed Gabby Petito in a huge way, but I also think that they saw a little girl and thought that she shouldn't go to jail.
Well, to be honest, I definitely hit him first.
Where'd you hit him?
I stopped him.
Because that's where it went. They concluded that Gabby was the perpetrator of all of it, and that's where it went. Just unbelievable.
And then what, just on his face?
You guys kind of just shut up.
How many times did you slap him?
Just a couple.
And then what? And his reaction was to do what?
Yeah, I can't remember, so I didn't slap him.
He just grabbed you?
Yeah.
That's Gabby Petito being interviewed by the Moab Police Department on the side of the road after reports from an individual who was witnessing what happened saw Brian Laundrie hit her. As you recall, police separated the two, but treated Brian.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to shut off these closed caption because they're not synced, and that annoys me.
Brian Laundrie.
I'm someone who likes to put the closed caption out on the video because I do have some deaf subscribers.
As the victim, sent Gabby on her way in the van, which she really didn't know how to drive, and put Brian in some protective care in some hotel, but didn't file any charges against anyone. As a result, the family of Gabby Petito now suing the Moab Police Department. There's a piece of evidence in that litigation, very revealing. Take a look. This is Gabby Petito taking a selfie. That's what happened to her.
Can you guys see that? Can you see the blood? I mean, a woman doesn't take a photo like that just because she's proud of it and to save it for later prosperity. She takes it for proof later.
That's what happened to her before.
And look at her. She's so mad, sad, upset, frustrated, and like confused. It's all on her face, and it just breaks my heart.
Police pulled them over. You see a woman like that with a report of her being hit, and you don't do more. You don't arrest him. You don't give him.
And she's literally got stuff on her face. Her face. Sorry, I get upset.
Court dates. You don't treat this as a true domestic violence incident. You don't treat her as a domestic violence victim. Kind of outrageous.
Do you think the police officers that didn't help her in this situation is going through any type of psychological issues? Do you think they have any sort of guilt about they didn't do more? I hope so. No, I don't hope so. I don't hope guilt for anyone, but geez, they should have done more.
So there's a lawsuit against the Moab Police Department that is happening, that's moving along a little slow, but it's a civil case. There's another civil case that's moving along a little bit quicker. This is the one where the Petito family is suing Brian Laundrie's family. Shanley Painter has more on that.
In July 2021, 22-year-old
Did they say
Gabby
Brian
Petito
Laundrie's
and her
family's? I got to take it back, guys. What did they just say?
It's moving along a little slow, but it's a civil case. There's another civil case that's moving along a little bit quicker. This is the one where the Petito family is suing Brian Laundrie's family.
Oh, okay.
Shanley Painter has more on that.
For a minute, I thought he said that the Laundries were suing the Petitos. I was like, wait.
In July 2021, 22-year-old Gabby Petito and her fiancé Brian Laundrie set off from New York State on a cross-country trip. She was an aspiring travel influencer who wanted to document her van life adventures on social media.
Me and Brian just got up and got ready, made the bed in the tent, set up. I think our plan for today is to just hang out here in the tent, Brian's stretching.
During their time on the road, Gabby Petito was in constant contact with her family and posted updates that seemed to be picture perfect, but were actually...
They were picture perfect, weren't they? I want to remind you that you've got it tuned into Pair Women Radio, and I'm Amy. And I want to welcome everybody here this morning. I hope you're having a great morning. If you could give this live a thumbs up, it helps me dance out into the algorithm and bring more people to the party. And it's just really a free way to help my channel out, and I appreciate it.
far from it.
Can you guys please shut up?
How many times did you slap him? And then what? His reaction was to do what?
How many times did he slap you? Just a couple. That's not abuse, is it? That's sarcasm.
He just grabbed you?
Weeks after the Moab, Utah police investigated
And he just like creeps me out. Maybe it's because he killed somebody and he wouldn't creep me out normally, but I think he would creep me out normally.
for domestic violence. Gabby
I've
Petito
got a big creep meter, and if anyone creeps me out anywhere near me, I just go the other way, and because I can't deal with that feeling.
disappeared. Her mother last spoke with her on August 27th. On September 1st, Brian
There, he
Laundrie
doesn't look
returned to
creepy.
his parents' home near Sarasota, Florida. He was driving Gabby's van, and despite pleas from Gabby's parents, he and his family refused to help police in the search for her.
I'm asking for help from the parents of Brian, and I'm asking for help of the family members and friends of the Laundrie family as well.
On September 19th, Gabby's remains were found in a shallow grave in Wyoming, and Brian Laundrie was on the run.
They said a shallow grave, so I guess he did try to bury her.
This is the home of Chris and Roberta Laundrie, where Gabby Petito and her fiance Brian Laundrie lived before their cross.
If you guys are interested in me going by the Laundrie's house and going to the reserve, I can do that too, because I'm very close. I think I might do it anyway.
Country van life trip. Now, if you remember, in September of 2021, for weeks, media staked out this property, protesters staked out this property, demanding that the Laundries speak out. What happened to Gabby Petito? What happened when their son Brian Laundrie went missing? But they never would speak publicly, only through their attorney. A month later, his body was found in a nearby nature preserve.
Earlier today, investigators found what appears to be human remains, along with personal items, such as a backpack and notebook belonging to Brian Laundrie.
Now, Gabby Petito's parents are suing Brian Laundrie's parents for the emotional pain they went through while Gabby...
Do you think the Petito family should be suing the Laundrie family? Do you think this is something you would do? Would you do a lawsuit if they weren't going to be arrested and charged that way? Would you do a lawsuit? Would you bring yourself to go through a lawsuit?
Was missing.
Although it's not really even bringing yourself to go through a lawsuit. In my mind, it's like healing, letting the Laundries know that we do not like and agree with what you did, and you're going to pay for it.
They allege in their
I believe in
lawsuit that the
justice.
Laundries knew that their son had killed Gabby and were protecting him. According to court documents, the Laundrie and Petito families had a cordial relationship until Gabby disappeared, and the Laundries appeared to be avoiding questions about what happened to their daughter. Instead of helping them, the Petitos say the Laundries lawyered up and cut off all contact with them as the search for Gabby was underway. The Petitos also accused Christopher and Roberta Laundrie of helping Brian hide from the police and make plans for him to leave the country. Brian Laundrie admitted in a suicide note that he killed Gabby. And while he was never prosecuted, the Petitos want his parents held accountable for their actions.
All right, folks, get ready. There's a hearing on February 14th. ironically Valentine's Day, but a big trial date, August 14th, this summer.
Oh, what happened on February 14th? Does anyone know what happened?
Tito Schmidt.
August 14th. I'm going to go to that, I guess. I'll do that. Or try to. It's a month away. I can plan that. I can plan a month away trip.
Gabby's parents versus the Laundrie family.
Okay. I just want to see what happened on February 14th. Okay. Reports attorney and Gabby Petito case battle over letter. Let's see.
New at 5:30 now, a legal battle in the Gabby Petito case over a letter. According to CNN, an attorney for Petito's parents says Brian Laundrie's mother wrote her son a letter with references to getting a shovel and burying a body. Now, that attorney says that he saw the letter at an FBI office. On the envelope said, "Burn after reading." The Petitos are suing the Laundries for emotional distress in connection with Gabby's death. In court today, a defense attorney for Laundrie's parents said the letter is irrelevant to the suit and shouldn't need to be produced. But the attorney also confirms that the letter exists and another family attorney has possession of it.
How is it I can't say that word. How does it not pertain to this case? Irrelevant. Oh, I said it. But I said it with some difficulty. I've had problems saying some words if you haven't noticed. Now tonight, February 14th. Let's see. This is a really long report. Very long report.
Good evening. I'm Gabby Schwartz coming to you from Los Angeles. Here's some of the stories we're following tonight.
I am filled with rage that we have to have another press conference to talk about our children being killed in their schools.
Another shooting spree. The suspected gunman behind the deadly mass shooting at Michigan State University.
I'm gonna have to cover that one because I haven't done a live or a video about it yet, but I know it happened. Michigan State. I went to Olivet, and Michigan State was a half hour away, and that's where we partied. If we partied at a different campus, so.
Officials to cancel classes hundreds of miles away in New Jersey today. All of this happening as another community prepares
Also,
to
Michigan State is the place where my cousin and uncle graduated from.
5 years since a massacre in Parkland, Florida. Then it is nothing short of a miracle. 200 hours after being buried beneath Turkish rubble.
Let me find where the Gabby Petito case is.
So it's really Gaziantep, Turkey. Carry up 0.5% and wine at home.
If I can't find it this way, I'll.
And after the break,
move.
That's a concern. But again, the bottom.
That is a higher rate than they are able to produce.
This is.
I don't like when they like.
We've got some breaking news out of Arizona where.
I don't like how like they specifically said attorneys in Gabby Petito case battle over letter, but then it's a news thing of like. It irritates me. Wait. Oh wait, no, it didn't. It did not. It says now tonight, February 14th. My outrage was not needed. Newly released photos. Okay, so I think I covered it. We got the photo and the letter. And the new court date is August 14th or 16th. I think it's the 14th. Anyone ever see this video of Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie walking around the grocery store just moments before, well, hours. I'll say hours, just hours before they went to that dispersed camping in Wyoming. Can't remember. Oh, Grand Teton. Jeep Live. That's such a cute little van, but it looks so short. So this is like, if you think like a human body would have to somehow lay. Hopefully, do you think that's 6 feet? Because I'm 9 feet, and like even though you're 9 feet, you can't really fit into a 9 feet space. You want it longer because you need to be able to stretch out your entire legs. But it's such a cute little van. I wonder what they did with the van. Do you think they're sitting in there right now and Brian's just screaming at her? Waiting. I didn't realize this video was so long. Oh my gosh, is this going to be one of the days where I want to say something but a different word comes out? I think it will be. I had a brain bleed / stroke 2 years ago, and words are the things that words and my legs were the things that it affected, and the words still remain. To be a fly on that van's wall. She's still sticking really close to him. Although she's got her hands in a gesture where it means she's comforting herself and at the same time letting the world know that she doesn't want anyone coming closer to her. And now there's video that they'll probably show inside where they're walking around. Oh, they were probably getting their... I was wondering what they were doing, but they were probably getting their bags ready because Brian was environmentally... Although I think having your own bags at a grocery store is good. Although I use the bags for garbage in my garbage cans. Shut up, Brian. Shut your trap. He's sitting there smiling. See, did you see him just look at that cute girl? Ugh. Just strolling, happy, 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 looking around. I'm the king. I'm the guy. I'm the man. Oh, is that wine? No. Oh, were they 21? I don't know. Yeah, they were 21. Isn't it strange that you could just be like out and about and you like just pass the guy that's about to kill a woman? I always find it gross, like when there's murder cases and there's a woman who's like the let's say like the mistress, or even like unknowingly the mistress, like Amber Fry and Nicole Kessinger. And I would just be so grossed out to think that I was intimate with a murderer. That would just make me feel, I would feel like, Would you feel like, like, yeah. Cheese? What is that? It's cheese. Go away, Brian. Get away from her. What do you know, Brian? That's interesting way of shopping, though, like carrying your bags around and putting them in the bags before you buy them. I can say I literally don't think I've ever seen anybody do that. Not in the stores around me. Maybe that's something. See, he went back and got the cheese that he wanted. There's Gabby. She's such a cute little girl. Miss Maybellini, hush. The little dog. Here's the kids. I'm right by a bus stop for kids. Like, I'm right by the bus stop for kids. They're right out front of me. Being in front of a bus stop doesn't really bother me, though, because, I don't know, I like to hear little kids having fun. I used to live by a elementary school, and I would hear them come out for their breaks and playing. It just made me happy to hear little kids having fun. Hey, Maybelline, come here. Come here. Stop. We're dealing with fleas here. Does anyone have a natural way to help my little one with fleas? I've tried a lot of natural things, and I've even tried like the unnatural things, and nothing's working. Flea, fly, flow. And I think that might be up close to being it. Yeah, we'll see them walk out into their little van, or not their, Gabby's little van. Every time I see little vans like that, I know I hope that it's for campers or van lifers. And that's it. They get in and they drive away. Okay. All right, that's it. I'm gonna go. I think I want to do some Watts deep dive. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna create another live stream that has the Watts on it, and I'll be back. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you for being here.
Back, a gripping new detail has emerged in the Gabby Petito homicide case. Some video has surfaced of the last moments of Gabby's life. And she's side by side with a longtime boyfriend who would ultimately kill
Sorry,
her.
this is kind of luring me in. This is Banfield talking about that video that we just watched. Do you guys want to watch that? Or do you want me to go and come back with a Watts live? Because Banfield, it's Banfield. Have I watched it before? I think I have, but let's start watching it. And if it's good, then it's good. And if it's not, I'll move on. Okay. I'm going to start this video and I've got to take the little dog outside. So I'll be gone for about 2-3 minutes.
Welcome back. A gripping new detail has emerged in the Gabby Petito homicide case. Some video has surfaced of the last moments of Gabby's life, and she's side by side with the longtime boyfriend who would ultimately kill her. What's fascinating is that the video shows the couple at a grocery store just moments after an explosive argument at a restaurant 2.5 miles away. Let me take you through what the cameras caught at this Whole Foods store in Jackson, Wyoming on August 27th, a year ago, right from start to finish. By now, you're familiar with the white transit van that Gabby and her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, had been using to drive across the country. The transit van pulls into the Whole Foods parking lot. Brian gets out of the driver's seat. Gabby isn't seen right away. Brian's poking around in the back of the van, but then suddenly Gabby does emerge from the passenger side, and then she follows Brian around to the driver's side, to his door, where she remains standing really close to him as he rummages inside for a hat. And this is significant because just a short time before these images were captured, witnesses reported seeing Gabby and Brian embroiled in a heated argument at the Mary Piglet restaurant just a few miles away. Some have theorized that that argument may have continued and that Brian may have killed her in a fit of rage right afterwards. But it's interesting to watch the body language in this parking lot after the reports of such a volatile encounter just moments before. And the video continues as the pair walks into the Whole Foods grocery store and then is seen wandering the aisles again, side by side, with nothing really to indicate any dangerous rift that's between them. They then exit the Whole Foods and again, side by side, make their way back to the transit van, with Brian Laundrie once again getting into the driver's seat. Interestingly, they spend about 20 minutes parked there before they finally drive away. And these are the last known images of Gabby Petito's life. It's kind of unclear as to why investigators refused to share these pictures with the public, especially after evidence showed that Brian savagely killed Gabby in or near Grand Teton National Park, mostly within hours of that visit that you were just looking at the store. He, of course, eventually drove that transit van all the way back to his parents' home in Florida and then took his own life in the nature preserve nearby. Brian Enton was out front on this story, reporting every day from the Laundrie family home in Northport, Florida, and he's with me now live to walk through the significance of this newly unveiled tape. So, Brian, I guess the number one question is, were you able to glean any clues from anything that you saw at any moment in those videos?
There were a few interesting things. First of all, I think it's important because it's the last time that we see Gabby Petito alive. And we don't know the exact timeline because we don't know exactly when she was murdered by Brian Laundrie, but it could have been hours after this video from the Whole Foods. It could have been a full day, but it was a very, very short amount of time. It's just sad to watch. I mean, that's the first reaction I had. I think that Gabby looks sad in the video. I talked to several different people, law enforcement, former agents, body language experts today. They all agreed she's got her hands crossed throughout the entire thing. She sort of looks beat down in the video. And Brian Laundrie just sort of has this cocky look about him throughout the entire thing. And it's just heartbreaking because we all know what happened next.
There was one thing that we caught as Laundrie drives the van in and parks it. He gets out and he slams the driver's side door. And if you're not paying attention, you might miss just how hard he slams it. Watch this. He just kind of, like he slams it so hard, he kind of twists his own body, which may be the reason why she doesn't get out right away. Like there's quite some time before she gets out of the passenger side, if you'll notice.
Yeah, there's no audio, but there is no question, if you caught it, that he slams the door. You mentioned it. He sort of like uses his entire body and just, flings it closed there. So clearly there's, anger It's also interesting that after they were in the store, she had all those bags kind of like covering herself almost in a way. And then they didn't really buy that much stuff, but she had all the bags. And then they were when they went back out into the van, they were in the van for about 20 minutes, just sitting in the parking lot before they left. So you really have to wonder what was happening behind the scenes.
And they were inside the store in these images for about 15 minutes. Is that right? But only bought, I think, like some cheese and some coffee, very little. They didn't buy a lot of groceries, but they spent a fair bit of time in the store.
Yeah, that was also strange. They sort of browsed around the store. And again, when you watch it really, really closely, like I did today a couple of times, I mean, you can just tell, like, again, she's got her hands covering herself. And they're just sort of like slowly walking around the store. The whole thing is very, very eerie. And again, knowing what we know now, you can sort of tell in the video that there's anger happening. And unfortunately, we know that the murder happened soon after.
Yeah, and it's weird because sometimes I look at the video and I think I don't really see much, but that's another issue. Do we know if there were any witnesses inside that Whole Foods that either saw or heard something that looked awry and were able to maybe come forward once they knew that this had happened? And remember, I saw that couple and I heard them. Or did they kind of look normal to everybody else and it's gone unnoticed by anybody who was in the store that day?
Yeah, it seems like it's gone unnoticed to me. I mean, I've been over almost every inch of this case, and this is really the first time the Whole Foods component came up. The video was never released. Of course, a lot of this was sealed because of the investigation. It's interesting. You mentioned it in your setup. This didn't come out until a couple of days ago for the first time. No one even really knew that this existed. So no witnesses that we know of from the Whole Foods who said anything. There was this issue at the Mary Piglet's restaurant right before what you see in this video at Whole Foods. They were at a restaurant close by in Jackson, Wyoming called Mary Piglet's, where they walked out without paying the bill. And there was sort of this issue out in the roadway. I actually interviewed the manager there where they said, hey, you didn't pay, and they ended up paying. So clearly, again, there was drama happening behind the scenes. You had that happen at the restaurant. Then they
Sorry, guys, I've let this play the whole time because I am dealing with fleas with May. They jump on her and bite her. I have the stuff that, once they bite her, they die. But they're biting her, and that's the issue because she is allergic to it, and her little body is just this big flaming mess. Does anyone have any suggestions on fleas? If you do, please help me. I've never had to deal with fleas. I'm from Michigan and I'm in Florida.
The Whole Foods.
I mean, I've dealt with them, and I've in Michigan, and all you do is like give them something and it goes away.
See them slam the door. They're sitting in the truck for 20, the van for 20 minutes.
I just thought of something, Brian. And I've only got 20 seconds left, but on that same day, Gabby's mom got that weird text saying, can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls. And she said, that's not my daughter. He doesn't call my husband Stan or her grandfather Stan. Do we know what the timestamp was on that? Like, how long after what happened at the grocery store was that fake text? And I've got about 20 seconds.
Yeah, we don't know the exact timestamp, but again, we know that was likely Brian Laundrie sending that text, which again sort of goes to the point that it was not a very long time after that video that Gabby was killed.
Well, it's just fascinating to look at it, and as you said, sad all at the same time. Brian Enton, thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you for watching.
It is fascinating to look at, but I don't know what they said because I was outside. Let's see if there's anything else, and then is the Murdaugh case started?
Considering
it has started.
The objections.
I don't know. I'm tempted to do that case because I don't want to watch. I don't want to be committed to watching it all day if I don't want to. I'm going to go get something to eat and come back and do a Watts deep dive because I want to know what's happening in that case. So that's what I'm going to do. And so give me about 20 minutes and I'll be back. Okay. I love you guys, and I want to remind you this is Parawoman Radio, and I'm Amy. If you could give this live a thumbs up, it really helps me dance out into the algorithm and bring a bunch of people back to the party. It's just a free way to help me out, and I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Oh, and if you like my content, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you subscribe, be sure to ring the bell because it gives you all my notifications. I've made a commitment to myself to try to do a live a day for 30 days. So far, I've done it, but I've only committed to it, I think, like 3 or 4 days ago. So we'll see how it works. I did it in December. I didn't get to call it Vlogmas because I missed the first day of December. So I felt like I couldn't do it, but next year I might be able to. So thank you guys. I love you, and I'll be back. And I see a whole bunch of new people overnight, and I want to welcome you to Parawoman Radio. And I want to always say a big thank you to my subscribers that are already here. Bye, guys.
I can think of if this wasn't showing as much, she does have that kind of skin tone that when there's any kind of like disruption on the skin, it gets really red, bright red at first, and then, you know, it dies down. But this over here, this looks like it's blood or something, unless maybe this is just blood and then she got it cleaned up. That could be too. But I mean, she's still got these, all this. Wow.
The Dr. Phil interview that he gave where he was smiling, but Burke is definitely somewhere on a spectrum. I can't diagnose him, but he's somewhere on a spectrum. And when people smile, when they're uncomfortable, that's a thing too. That's a psychological thing. So people were quick to, when he did the Dr. Phil, to be like, oh, he's smiling the whole time. Why is he smiling?
Yeah, I mean, I know. I actually do have a degree in physiology and psychology, and I don't want to try to diagnose anybody, but I can say all individuals have a very unique to them way of responding to things. You know, some when they're uncomfortable, some may cry when they're uncomfortable, some may kind of just fall up and not say anything when they're uncomfortable.
They're really nice. I think I want an Audi. I think I'm an Audi girl. Because they're awesome. And I like the way they sound. So I'm going to probably do that. I have to go to the Audi dealership and test drive a couple of them. Can't have an R8. I have two little kiddos. Not going to happen. If you guys are watching